She was sitting on a hillside in 1912, lying in a hammock, and this is all from Olive Hagen's book. She's lying in a hammock, had just had a baby, was recovering from a baby. So she's just your average mom living in the burbs of Kansas City, or what would have been the equivalent of the burbs in 1912. And she looks around, she's on this hillside, and there's no church in her community. There's no houses, there's no people. It's just staked off lots of mud where houses are going to eventually be built. And so as she's lying here recovering from giving birth, she's dreaming of like, what if, as this community is starting, what if there's a church here? How do we get a church here? And so she's an example of there is no wagon loop to follow. You're the first one starting out. And so she recovers from giving birth, and then houses are being built in her community. And so she just grabs her girlfriends, and I love this quote from Olive Hagen's book. She grabs her girlfriends. It says, "The women went out, 2 and 2, and dragged through the mud, calling on every family in the sparsely settled community, creating interest in the work." And so I just love that example of bringing people together, taking the initiative, putting in the time, putting in the work to bring about something that you don't see. And then they were successful. They recruited people to prayer meetings and Bible studies, and eventually they wanted to start a church and were ready to start a church, but didn't have the money to start a church. So Mr. and Mrs. Cox mortgaged their house in order to have money to buy lumber to build the church. And so you just see this pattern over and over again in history of when something doesn't exist and needs to exist, there's 3 things you do. First is you have to take initiative. You have to be the one that says, hey, I don't see this and it needs to happen, so I'll take the initiative. And then the second is put in the work. Whatever you want to see happen that doesn't exist, you have to take the initiative for it, and then you have to put in the time, you have to put in the work, you have to be the one to actually work to see it happen. And then the third is make the sacrifice. You have to be the one willing to pay the price to see the dream happen. And for them, the price was mortgaging their house in order to have money to be able to build the church. But basically, you see that pattern over and over again.